Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio Podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Fine.
Excellent, excellent. The cocktail of the week this week is called Slap the Ghost.
Ow.
Slap that ghost.
Ow.
Slap the Ghost
Ow.
is Bailey's Kahlua vodka, half and half, vanilla ice cream, and ice. And then you blend it all up into a shake and put a maraschino cherry on the top.
What's it called?
Slap the Ghost.
Ow.
Okay. That's a tasty drink. That's a good intro to drink.
That's a good dessert right there.
Half an ounce of Bailey's, half an ounce of Kahlua, half an ounce of vodka. So real light on the alcohol. 2 scoops of ice cream.
It's really a sundae.
A cup of ice.
Milkshake?
A little bit of half and half. And a cherry. Yeah, it's like
Bailey's milkshake?
lightly alcoholic milkshake. It's like a mudslide without the chocolate on the glass.
All the things you're saying sound delicious.
Oh my God.
Lightly alcoholic milkshake? Delicious.
No, Pinterest gave me this, here's 4 cocktails that basically use Bailey's and Kahlua and vodka and ice cream. And I was like, I want every single one of those. But Slap the Ghost is a great name for a cocktail.
Ow.
Exactly.
How could that mixture be wrong? No. Like if you're too heavy on any of the ingredients, it's still delicious because those ingredients are really good.
Yep.
This isn't like where it's, bitters, which in isolation would taste nasty. This is all delish.
Okay, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
So shut up, Ingo.
No.
Oh my God, you have the timer. Click, click, click. Tick, 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 tick,
None of these things are happening.
All right, never mind. It's my mind.
Yeah, well, your mind is a mysterious place.
Today, especially.
I want to actually start with Taste of the Keys because today roughly 500 people sent me the article that is the follow-up to our Taste of the Keys last week.
It is a great story.
Oh my God, it's so good.
In their defense, it's a great story. In their undefense, we're following this too, guys.
We live here. No, I always send me stuff. People have sent me stuff that I haven't seen before. Just not this week. So, Ingo?
Today is not that day.
Stop playing with Guac's ball. 1, his tail is wagging my computer. 2, you're about to unleash chaos. No throwing the ball for the podcast. No.
All right, I will starve the Guaco Man of attention.
You're good. You can pet his head. Just
Guaco
don't
Man.
throw his ball. Okay. So if you did not join us last week, the Taste of the Keys was about 2, at that point, anonymous dudes.
Miscreants.
Frat boy types who on New Year's lit a Christmas tree on fire in front of the concrete buoy that marks the southernmost point and did $5,000 worth of damage and
to the marker and then left. And so we were like, okay, we gotta figure out who these guys are. We pointed to the surveillance footage that had pictures of them. They have been caught, and we are going to tell you the story. Okay, so everybody in Key West, I can't overstate how angry they were. Yeah, everyone's really pissed.
The icon of Key West is this marker, and these guys lit it on fire. So Paul Menta, who is the owner of Key West Legal Rum, the rum that we always talk about. Genius
and somewhat our hero.
Yeah, I'm pals with him. We're working on a secret project together. Also, you can buy their rum online now. If you Google Key West Legal Rum, you can actually buy the green coconut rum that we talk about all the time. They ship it now.
Not only can you should.
A bunch of people have, and they're like, oh my God, it's so good.
Oh my God, it's so good.
This is not a paid endorsement. We love this stuff. Paul is our friend. And it's super exciting that you guys can now enjoy this very local rum that's distilled here in Key West. You can take a tour of the distillery. They make it here. They've now partnered with a distributor so you can get some.
My liver is probably a quarter legal rum.
That's true. We drink it all the time in the house.
At any time.
Anyway, so Paul Menta is kind of like an icon among the conks. He's very involved in Key West civic life.
Oh my goodness. He's like a Renaissance man. If a Renaissance man were like a triathlete, CrossFit, crazy physical guy.
Let's not. We don't need to exaggerate it. He's a professional kiteboarder.
He is.
In addition to being a chef and a rum distiller.
Uh-huh.
And that's about as Key Western as you can get.
Award-winning rum distiller.
Oh my God, that rum is good.
Yeah.
All right, so he offers a reward of rum for information
$10,000, I think he said, right? Like,
Well, he
however
gives rum,
calculated
and then there also was I think a monetary award leading to the arrest of these guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Because everyone is pissed.
This goes out, and Gwen Filosa, our friend from the Miami Herald, who has the Florida Keys beat, writes in her article for the Miami Herald about the, quote, coconut telegraph, which is just the Key West version of the grapevine, like the people telling everybody stuff. Every single
rumors.
So this story has since made national news. The AP has it. I'm looking at like the ABC News. CNN had it today on their homepage. Like, the story has gotten out of these guys, and every single story says coconut telegraph, which is, I mean, it's a great phrase. So the word goes out all throughout the Keys. We've got to catch who these guys are. And they have been caught. So here's how they got caught. And I got to say, I found this out from Paul Menta's Facebook video that got posted before any of this got written up in the newspaper. So the guys who lit this Christmas tree on fire obviously were out on New Year's Eve in Key West partying. Clearly they were drunk when they did this. I mean, they could have been really stupid and done it sober, but obviously they're drunk. So the news goes out with pretty decent pictures of these dudes from the surveillance footage. And at Irish Kevin's bar on Duval Street, which we have talked about in many podcasts, including some Murder/Mysteries in Paradise podcast.
This is an institution, yeah.
It really is. It's right next to Sloppy Joe's on Duval Street, kind of the heart of like get down, like go to bars, party on Duval Street in Key West. This bartender at Irish Kevin's looks at those pictures and he's like, I recognize that guy. I recognize that guy's face. He was in here drinking.
On New Year's. Yeah.
On New Year's Eve. 3 times they came up and ordered drinks and I rang them out and they tipped 0 times.
And they left their credit cards. So maybe I have a record of this.
I gotta say, like, we go out a decent amount of the time in Key West. And it's, you know, we don't go out as much now because of COVID, but, you know, even now, like, we don't go to the bars, but the places we go are outside. And one of the first times that we went out to Blue Heaven, which is a place we go all the time, like, we had this guy wait on us. His name was Henro. He's not there anymore. And we come back the next time, and Henro's like, hey, Jen and Ingo. And we're like, wow, that guy remembers us. Hi. And he's like, I always remember a good tipper. Because we're big over tippers in the household.
I love that. But there's also a thing at every bar, any very real bar, if you give a good tip, they'll ring a bell.
Yep. Ding, ding. And if you give a really good tip, they go ding, 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 ding.
I love this.
Ingo likes to have the bell rung for him. So we tip absurd amounts. I mean, we've, you know, as we've talked about, like, we don't live up to the standard of the amount of money that we make, and so one space that we spend extravagantly is in tipping when we go out.
Like, our first expense is the dogs, our second expense is tipping.
Like, I think I tipped 50% at dinner today,
which is, you know,
pretty normal for us.
Percentage is not as important as pure dollars.
Oh my God. Anyway, so apparently not only do you remember people who tip very well, you also remember people who tip $0.
3 times. I mean, you always round up, or you leave $1 per drink or something.
That's right. So this bartender is like, I remember these guys who did not tip me. I know kind of when they were in there. So let's give credit. Cameron Briotti, kind of like Brody, but with an I. He's like, they didn't tip me, but they paid with a credit card, so we should be able to find their name. So he calls his boss and he's like, I think these guys from the buoy were in here and they didn't tip me. And they're like, well, we have tons of cameras, quote, tons of cameras, and let's go through the cameras and the credit card receipts and figure out who they are. So they go through the footage, they find the dudes on the camera, they go into the credit card receipts, they find the credit card of one of the guys, and from there they're like, this is a quote from the boss, quote, we could follow them the whole time in and out of the bar. We could see them getting rejected from all the girls they were trying to hit on.
I think that is that is the chef's kiss of this whole story, which is what a bunch of losers these guys are.
I think that part of the story may be why this whole tale has been picked up by the national news, because it's not just like
these guys burned the buoy. Like, that was a kind of interesting story that did get some national traction. The guys got caught because of surveillance footage. Interesting. The guys got caught because of surveillance footage, and the owner of the bar is like, yeah, all the girls they hit on rejected them, and also they tipped $0.
They tipped $0. If they had tipped a normal amount, the bartender might not have remembered them. Let's start with that, the whole chain, right? If like they'd been normal, non-jerks to begin with, but this is such a good karma thing. It's so good.
Would you go out with someone who was a non-tipper?
No, because I'd be like always trying to backfill and leave a tip and trying to sneak behind their back and give the money to the server. If
I were like, Ingo, I can't believe you're leaving a tip. Like leave $2 on this $100 bill.
It's a deal breaker. It's a deal breaker because it is mean to the server. It's just a terrible thing to be.
Yep. I agree. I would not go on a second date with someone, and also would backfill. I'd be like that.
I'd backfill, and then if you want to do that, that's not a relationship.
No, that'd be terrible. So anyway, they caught the two guys. Based on those receipts, they identified them.
So much information.
So good. Yeah. So one of them was from Texas, and one of them was from somewhere else up in mainland Florida. I'm trying to pull their names up here because the article that I read was they really only cared that they tipped $0 and got rejected from all the girls that didn't even give their names.
Then they stopped looking. But they were voluntarily going to surrender to the police, I think, those two knuckleheads.
They did. They turned themselves in. One of them was taken to jail, but then was released on his without having to post bond. So, yeah.
And they have since, I think, repainted the landmark, right? I think it's all shiny and clean again.
Oh yeah, it reopened this week. It was pretty quick.
It's pretty funny because it was a big attraction burned too. This is what we talked about last week. It's like right. People were flocking there to take pictures while it was all charred.
Yep.
So it's a win-win for the city, I think.
Oh my God.
I'm not suggesting to burn it all the time.
No.
But luckily, kind of the city of Key West wins both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, people were lined up like on New Year's Day to get their pictures taken there.
And it shows the power of the coconut telegraph.
All right. So the guy that got arrested for not tipping, or whatever, he got arrested and recognized because he didn't tip. Not tipping is legal.
Word that he were arrested for not tipping. That'd be funny.
Skylar Jackson. His name is Skylar. I mean, look, you don't get to pick what your name is, but I'm not surprised.
Sure.
Of Henrietta, Texas. The other guy, 21, Skylar Ray Jacobson. Did I say Jackson? Jacobson. Skylar Ray Jacobson, 21. And 21-year-old David B. Perkins Jr. of Leesburg, Florida.
Frick.
Yep. So anyway.
Don't come here and commit mayhem and expect to get away with it. You guys are knuckleheads.
Mm-mm. That's right. So yeah, they both have been arrested, charged, humiliated by the national press.
Look, if you want to do stupid drunken stuff on New Year's, do nudity that hurts no one, right? I mean, you might get arrested still or a ticket, but you're not going to hurt anyone or anything if you just run around naked. But this is ridiculous. Burning is bad. Don't light stuff on fire. It's always bad.
On Gwen Filosa's page, she posted the link to her story about this, and someone responds, "Don't come to Key West and act like jerks."
Exactly. That's what the mainland is for.
Yeah, well...
What's the slogan? Don't drive like you're from the mainland.
That's
we
right.
only have one road, guys.
Slow down. This isn't the mainland. Everyone is gleeful. Everyone in the Keys is gleeful about this arrest.
It's a good karma story. Yep. It really is on all levels.
So thanks everybody who sent it. It has been a gleeful part of our week as well. And that is our Taste of the Keys for the week.
Yum.
All right.
Good taste.
Now, administrative corner.
Yeah, I love the administrative corner. If I had a spreadsheet, it'd be the best.
I can make you one. Administrative corner is all you this week, both you trended on Twitter on your birthday and also Christmas cards.
Oh, I take it all back. I was not anticipating this, although you've told me this. This is not why I love the administrative corner. Anyway, yes. Thank you for all the well wishes. I can't believe I was trending on Twitter for a while. I took that
GR
screenshot.
Dad.
I may frame it, print it out and frame it, which is kind of a dad thing to do.
I've never trended on Twitter.
But I've been very pleased because I have never publicized your birthday before. You did it for me, and look what happened. Oh my goodness, if I publicized your birthday, Twitter would collapse.
You'd have to get access to the Golden Ratio Twitter
The
account.
World Wide Web would collapse. Yeah, so I'm very pleased. I can't believe it. Thank you for everyone. Thank you to everyone. I'm very blushing. Don't think I deserve it, but thank you very much.
You're great.
Yeah.
Christmas cards?
We've gotten a ton of Christmas cards in
You
writing.
counted them today.
As 80 some or more. It could be that we missed a batch so far, so it could be in the 100.
That's missed a batch to count, not missed a batch to open.
Yeah. No, they could still be showing up at the mailbox too, because mail and our mailbox. But thank you so much to everyone. We really appreciate it. It's so nice and so gratifying to know the people like it, and that the content helps them and makes them happy and makes them smile, because that's what we do it for. So it's great. And I admit that I'm kind of a lurker with Christmas cards. I don't write them anymore. I used to write more of them. But
Same.
I'm not very good at, I'm not disciplined about it. I don't write them, but I love getting them, obviously. And I appreciate the handwritten ones because that's my generation. And I think it's great. So thank you to everyone who sent them. They are all appreciated, and it really is a nice confirmation that we're touching some people's lives, which
That's
is good. Not in a big head way, but this is what we do it for. Watch our dogs do stupid stuff and enjoy it because we do.
All right. Thank you for handling administrative corner. Moving on to dog updates.
That may never happen again.
Let's talk about Voods. All right, first.
Oh my God.
Last week we mentioned that we were doing a super secret project and he started eating toilet paper off the roll on the scene of it, and now he's realized he can eat toilet paper off the roll at our house as well. So
because he's smarter than he looks.
We have to keep our bathroom doors closed now all the time.
He walks up, he stands there, kind of stares into the distance, then he casually turns his head and kind of licks sideways, grabs the end of the toilet paper, and then moves his head to the other side, and that starts the roll. And then he's like, oh my God, this is like an endless buffet of toilet paper. This is the best.
Like 5 times we've caught him eating toilet paper.
Because it's so easy for him, and it's like right at head height, and I could see why he's just like, I can't believe I didn't do this before. This is a cornucopia of snack.
Oh my God. And it's 5 times in the last 2 days because all right, so last week we mentioned that GR Dad and I were going to do a little staycation. On Saturday we were going to go to a resort 20 miles up the road for 1 full day, 2 nights and 1 day.
The logistics of this were like the D-Day landing, and it was for 2 freaking nights.
We interviewed dog sitters.
D-Day.
We're going to leave Saturday late morning. We're going to be back early morning on Monday. Friday afternoon, Voods is like, it's a good time to have a big dramatic seizure right now.
You even saw this coming. I did not.
That morning, I was like, he always has seizures when I'm going someplace. He's going to have one now. Even though it's not like I had given hints. I wasn't packing.
It's not like you've gone places that often either.
No, but I would say 50% of his seizures align with me going somewhere. He had one when I was up in Maryland in December.
Frick.
He had one when I ran an overnight ultra marathon for like the previous New Year's. There maybe is one other time. So I was like, I know.
Clearly he's trying to guilt you
today.
into not leaving ever.
And our emergency vet, which was supposed to open last week, which is why we planned our little staycation for that weekend, is not open yet.
Because it's the keys.
Because it's the keys and everything takes a long time. So it's like Friday. He has this big dramatic seizure. And I was like, we can't have him here because often he has this cluster of seizures. We can't do that with a dog sitter here who's never seen him before.
And tell the dog sitter, you might have to go to Miami and back.
That's the option.
Voods. No, while the other dogs are here, nah.
It's a 3-hour drive each way, you guys.
Nah.
And you have to drop him off, which is, there's like an intake. It's like a 7-hour process. So it's like 2
Plus,
p.m.
The other dogs are right here.
Yeah. 2 p.m. on Friday afternoon, Voods has a seizure. And I'm like, we can't do this. And even if we canceled our trip, there's no emergency vet here in the Keys. So if he did have more seizures, we still would have to take him up to Miami because there's no place to take him here.
So you looked at me.
I'm like, how do you feel about driving to Miami right now, Ingo?
I was like, let me take a shower first.
So Ingo went and showered as I'm like injecting medicine into Voodoo. I think he was slightly done seizing at that point. But he was all...
Yes, he was.
He's like coming out of his seizure. He's real dopey for a while. And we've said this before. He's like, I've never met you before. And you're beautiful and smell very nice.
He's just like Doug, but even nicer. Doug in the Up movie where he's just like, hi, I've never met you, but I think I love you. I'm your best friend.
He can't see really well. He definitely can't walk, but he sticks his face like up to your face and he's all happy.
He licks.
He's very joyful after a seizure, but it's weird.
He's reborn.
The no goes away.
I know, but also the ability to do anything goes away. So he kind of just lies there. Yeah.
No, it's not good. So I call up the neurologist and I was like, it's Vood again.
We have her on speed dial, obviously.
We do. And they're like, he should come up, like bring him up. And so Geodad's going up there and I was like, normally the process is, they'll give him medication and once he's seizure free for 24 hours, they'll send him home. But that's the middle of the weekend, right? That's like Sunday morning.
Sending him home Saturday night or Sunday morning would be super stressful because he gets here and we're like, or not even gets here. If I pick him up in Miami, I'm like, what if he has another seizure on the 3-hour drive? I would have to turn around and go to Miami. What if we bring him home and he has another seizure? This is not good.
So this sort of logistics super stresses me out. And so I'm like, if they talk to you and go, this is what to say, but they usually call me. And I was like, so look, it's Friday evening now. I'm like, we don't have an emergency vet here in the Keys. I know he'll probably be fine. If he has a bunch more seizures, obviously he's going to stay with you. But if he doesn't, if he's fine, could you guys still keep him till Monday? Because we don't have any options here. And then we just bring him home and bring him back to you and then have to bring him again. And
keep him for observation.
I'm talking to the actual neurologist. And she's like, he can stay here as long as he wants. I love this dog. He's like my favorite patient. She's like, I have dogs. If I could bring him to my house and my dogs wouldn't freak out, I'd totally bring him home with me. We give him a special room so he's not in a kennel because he likes to interact with people. I love to snuggle with him. He's a great cuddler. My dogs are nice, but he gives such good hugs. I was like, he really does give good hugs. She's like, we all just go in there and cuddle with the Voods. So he has this whole secret second life.
The Voodoo wing.
The staff of the neurology clinic. They have a special voodoo room and people just go in and hug him and pay attention to him. He hangs out with the staff. He plays with people, I guess. I have no idea what his life is like up there, but they are Voodoo is the best. And
I think he likes it a little too much. Maybe he faked that seizure and he's just like, hey, I want to go to Miami. Those guys love me.
When the neurologist called, so Ingo had dropped him off and was waiting in the parking lot, and I was kind of doing the rundown of the seizures and everything with the neurologist. She came on the phone and she's like, hi, this is Dr. So-and-so. And I was like, Voodoo missed you, clearly. So decided to have another seizure. And she's like, we missed him too.
Oh.
But it was so, I had no idea, right? I was like, they obviously take good care of him, but I figure, he's in his little crate and he's getting his medicine and is observed and taken care of. I didn't realize he got a friggin' suite.
He's the VIP.
with cuddle sessions with the staff.
I mean, to a person, all the texts that have brought him out and talked to him are like, we love this big guy.
Yeah.
He's such a good boy. We love him.
He is a really good snuggler. For sure.
Oh, what a voodoo man. You quit sneaking your way down to Miami. We don't need you to fake seizures.
He's like, I'm more stylish than the Keys. I need the South Beach life. Hashtag South Beach life.
Mr. Pitbull.
So anyway, he's fine. He did not have any more seizures. We're not changing his medicine. I actually had a really good long talk with the neurologist about future plans for his medications.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll add here, though. So when he came back after his long stay, at the beginning of December,
The first day, yeah.
the first the 6 days he was up there, he had a chicken Band-Aid on.
He had
He's-
one chicken Band-Aid on,
One
yes.
chicken Band-Aid. And I was like, nice chicken bandage. And someone commented who works, I don't know if they're a vet or they work in a vet's office, but they're like, yeah, we have those. The printed vet wrap, normally vet wrap's like a solid color. The printed vet wrap is like no lick or no chew vet wrap. I bet that's what it was. And I was like, well, that totally makes sense, because I think we also noted he pooped out some vet wrap after that visit.
That wrap he pooped out was also printed.
Yeah. And so when he came back this time, he also had not chicken, but printed vet wrap.
Yeah, may have had a duck on it.
And so tonight, we were downstairs and Jared Dad was like cleaning stuff out of his car, I think, and he came out with the bandage that they had just like temporarily put on after removing Voodoo's IV, and he's like, yeah, this is Voodoo's bandage. And I was like, give it to me because I need to taste it.
I forgot. You licked it immediately.
I licked it. It was quite bitter. It definitely is anti-lick flavored, and I was like, there's no way this taste would deter Voods.
No, I was like, I had to cut it off so Voods wouldn't eat it.
Yeah. So anyway, Voods is fine. Hopefully our emergency vet will open in the next couple weeks, so we will not have to keep, we being your dad, will not have to keep driving up to Miami. But he did fine. He didn't have any more seizures. So
Yeah, as everyone has seen, he's doing quite well. He's quite alert. And we're hoping it's related to kicking the Rocky Mountain fever out of his system.
he's
perhaps.
way perkier and more energetic. His walking is not any better.
No, he's still stumbly, lurchy man.
But, he seems much more engaged and
There's more
energetic.
galloping Voods
Yeah.
and more, wandering around mischief Voods, which is, has its own problems, but he seems less zoned out, which is good.
Absolutely. There's no other real dog news. Everybody is fine. Remy's started on a new insulin, which seems to be working well. We've tweaked
Human
it again.
insulin. Human.
Yeah. Novolin N for our friends who are
Sure,
diabetic.
experts in the field, yes.
We have a
yes.
lot of diabetic friends of the squad.
There's a lot of diabetic humans, which is
Yep.
like a whole new world for me, for example.
Yeah. So we get his insulin at CVS now. So we just increased him to 10 units twice a day of the Novolin N. And if that works, we may be able to get his eye surgery.
We may have
Coming
to
up.
increase him to 11, but at least he doesn't seem to have the double dip on
Yeah.
this stuff.
So he's doing good. On Saturday, Dad is taking him up to Maryland for like 10 days of doggy training boot camp. So he's not going to be spending the night, but he's going to go in, drop off in the morning, pick up in the evening with our trainer Michael at Old Town Pet Resort, who trained Guac, and Toby, if you've been with us that long.
Remy boot camp. There'll be whistles. There'll be, toilet cleaning. There'll be, drills.
I'm so relieved that he's going to get properly trained. I was sort of saying last week that the quality of life in the household between Voods' miscreantism, which is very hard to deal with, and then Remy's just kind of out of controlness, the quality of life in the household has really gone down for me. It is like not peaceful. It's very stressful trying to manage it. But Remy, like Voods is maybe a lost cause in terms of training. We might see if Michael can do something to him. But Remy is 100% trainable and,
Yep.
Just a little beyond my capabilities as a trainer to quickly get him into shape. But Michael's going to do a great job with him. And Remy's smart and can learns well. So in a couple weeks, we're going to have a really transformed Remy. I'm very excited. Life is going to be so much better with him. I was saying to one of our friends today when I was out walking, I think part of his like barking all the time and just kind of wildness is that he doesn't understand yet what the rules are. Like so many of the dogs that we take in who come from kind of neglected backgrounds where they're not like actively abused, but people just don't have time for them and didn't train them.
Yeah, ignoring a dog is just as bad as abusing a dog in some ways.
And they get so anxious. And, especially like those young ones, right? They come in as a Christmas present and then it's totally reasonable that it's like, oh, let's get our 4-year-old and 2-year-old a golden retriever puppy for a Christmas present. And then mom doesn't have time to train the dog, doesn't know how to train the dog. Life is fucking busy with 2 little kids.
And that puppy is a ton of work, just like housebreaking it. And so then you get to 9 months or, up to like a year and a half, and you just go, this is completely unmanageable. And this dog is huge and crazy right now. Like, you shouldn't buy dogs as Christmas presents. Like, you shouldn't get to that situation. But I understand how people end up there. Those dogs are so anxious, and they're wild and out of control, and they destroy stuff because they just need a structure to operate in, and they never got it.
They need predictability and regularity, and
Yeah.
if they have
and rules.
and if they have a situation where like one day they can chew on the pillow and it's great and everyone
Yeah.
laughs and they think it's funny, and then the next day they chew on the pillow and someone screams at them, they're like, what just happened? My whole world is like inconsistent now. I'm very stressed.
Yeah.
I'm very stressed.
And we'll get in some dogs that are well trained, and obviously they're anxious, like when they come into foster and come into a new home, and you'll see them where like they don't know what's going on, so they just sit. And it's like, oh, like this is a dog who's like, I have no idea what to do here, but this is a thing I know how to do that generally makes people happy, so I will just sit.
Yeah, I'll get rewarded for this, or I'll get
right
praised for this. Yeah.
And those are dogs that like, okay, like they were trained in their background, and something else happened. So Remy, he's not like super crazy anxious, though he's not calm enough that we could take him off all of his medication for the anxiety yet. But I think it's going to make a huge difference. So I'm very excited about his boot camp that's coming up.
Yeah, he's smart and he's a good boy. He wants to do the right thing. I think he's going to be a good candidate. Yeah.
So I think your dad wants to take Voods with on that trip, and
he's the voodoo man.
I had thought about having Voods go to boot camp at the same time as Remy. I just don't think he's going to be that responsive to training, but I may email Michael and be like, could you look at him for a day or two and see?
And look, part of it is the fact that we have like work being done in the house, and Voods
we'll get to
is
that.
the one who needs the most elevator time. So if I can bring him to Maryland where there's few stairs and he's uncomplicated, it's fine.
Yep. So anyway, there's no other updates on the other dogs. Everybody's good. But we can do the house update, which is all of the work started at the same time. All of it was extremely delayed from when it was supposed to start, and it started at the same time.
No one wanted to start mid-November when they all said they were going to start, but now they're all like, hey, how about now?
To give them fair credit, they both gave us estimates about how long the projects were going to take, and both projects look like they're going to take about half the time that they said they were going to take.
True. Yeah,
which is pretty great.
They're both working hard. I'm not the work itself, as with so much of this, once they start, it's very good. It's just so unpredictable when they'll be able to start and mobilize and get you in.
So they started putting in the seawall at the end of last week. It's pretty much built now. They still have to like fill it in with concrete. They still have to bring the dock in, but the boulders are all mostly in place. I think they'll probably finish it tomorrow. And then they also started working on our spalling, which is the concrete repair. We thought they were going to have to take off our whole front porch and our whole back porch along with our stairs. They did take all of our stairs off, which was very loud. And then they put the new stairs on. But it turns out that they're able to basically just jackhammer out around the cracks in the concrete. And
also pretty loud.
Extremely loud. And repair that without having to take off whole parts of the porch. So work that we thought was going to take 3 weeks is ending up taking about a week and a half. They're going to be done in the middle of next week. So it's been a process and will continue to be a process, but it's getting done. But it's very loud and very disruptive, and the dogs are all a little bit on edge, as are we humans.
It's still 100% better than having the windows or the bathroom done because no one's inside. At
That's
least
right.
The dogs are inside being anxious and not people walking in and out, and we have to have the dogs like corralled in some room.
Yeah, and when they started working on the back porch today, and we thought when they did that we weren't going to be able to go out there, potentially because they were going to have to take the whole thing off and redo it. But that's not the case. We actually can keep using the elevator the whole time while they're doing it. So that just brought reduced 90% of the anxiety I had about that project.
Yeah, so it I guess logistically, it's no longer necessary that I bring Voods, but I kind of like Voods, and it'd be nice to bring him because he's the voodoo man.
Okay, so that's the end of dog updates.
Jared, the only thing we have left is the German word of the week, and you got a whole big long one, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, someone tweeted this to me, which is a fair point, though, because I think last time I said we're the Volk der Dichter und Denker.
Stupid.
Germany has this self-reputation of being the folk of the poets and thinkers, right? Because we have philosophers.
Because your
and we
jokes
have
suck.
poets.
No, you don't need to explain it. It's boring.
Nobody says we're the folk of the comedians.
Nope.
Nobody says we're the funny peoples. No, we're
Get to the word and go.
serious and deep. Serious and deep.
I'm going to cut this all out of the podcast.
Go back.
Boring.
No. No. So anyway, so the play on words now is, since things there are just as crazy with the COVID and COVID deniers and anti-vaxxers, that it's das Volk der Dichten und Querdenkern. And if you're dicht, if you're described as dicht, it means you're just drunk, hammered drunk. So the folk of the drunk and the Querdenker is like the anti-vaxxers.
Oh.
They're like, oh, we're independent thinkers. We are, we think against the grain. That's what they describe themselves as there. So it's like the guys who are doing their own research, also in Germany.
I see.
So das Volk der Dichten und Querdenker.
Okay.
Not das Volk der Dichter und Denker. So this is considered funny in Germany. Shut up.
Okay.
Don't look at me like that.
Good job, Bingo.
All
right. Well, so that's it for this week. Next week and the week after, we will be doing remote pods because
I'll be remote. You'll be remote. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we're not going to be together for a couple weeks.
But it's good for Remy.
Oh my God, it's going to be so good. Like, I'm sad you're going to be gone, but I seriously need that dog trained. And Michael's going to do a great job. And you're going to have a little adventure and get to see your daughter and everything's going to be good.
It might be wind. It's supposed to be snowy up there.
It's going to be cold, and that's why I'm staying here.
Weird.
If it were reversed, like we were living in Maryland and we had a great dog trainer down in the Keys, I'd be like, bye, taking the dog to the Keys, bye.
Yeah, snow for the dogs. Yeah, exciting.
Yeah.
Snow dogs.
Well, that's it for this week. And, there's a new Mysteries in Paradise that's going to drop basically the same time as this podcast, so keep an eye out for it.
Spooky.
It's not spooky.
I'm just saying spooky.
Okay.
The music is spooky.
And until next week, don't bite anyone unless they ask you to.
Don't bite anyone unless they ask you to. Make sure they really mean it. Bye.
Yep, bye.